Welcome, guys. Freaking Wednesday. Another one. And did a freaking thing again. Finally, I can stop yapping about the February level and 77.7 ish. Because we already quite above that one. And we did the push into the upside for it. But there are some things to look out for. Especially not really jumping in front of the train right now. But yeah, we are quite heavily going into the highs of 80k. So we are close to that one. But slowly, we are starting to see some potentials for bigger movements. Either way, it's going to be to the upside or even much more better to the downside, in my opinion. But yeah, VIX, we did break the whole low of 17. That's freaking great. First thing first, we had a small rebounds from it with a gap as well. Like the VIX start to get gapped a little bit more often, in my opinion. So I'm not sure if that's a good thing or not. But overall, we are still above 17. So if that's going to be holding, we potentially looking for reverse of the momentum that we are right now in, right? So to speak. Why? Because we are seeing some reversal sign already on the oscillation, but as well we are again above it. Yes, we broke the whole stuff, and that means we did break it on the quite high time frame as well. Not fully the whole low, but the mid range of it. So that's already a first aim that I'm looking at it. But if you're gonna get back above 21, we start to fill the gap between the 21 and 23. So we potentially looking for a reversal. Yes, it's gonna happen right now. Not really. We are still quite heavily into the upside, and there are still orders placed above us to get take out. So overall, good, but we want more downside on the VIX, right? If we're gonna be below 17, more than happy. Staying above it, yeah, then most likely we're gonna reverse and do some gap filling and maybe some readers of the upside of it, right? But overall, it's a good beginning of the momentum, and Bitcoin is on the run. So far, we don't see any reversal sign yet, but the day is not over. So be aware of that, right? The 4 hour, yes, we had a good close. We did wick out above the previous wick of the whole 4 months that been holding us. That said, we just settled the high, but now let's see how we're gonna react from it. Now moving on, like I've been mentioning as well, Dixie had a good breakdown to the lows. We are still holding on the 97-ish area, right? But now we are seeing a rebound from it and quite significant change of momentum as well. So yes, the Dixie aim to go lower. That means underside readers of 98, regaining that, you get back at 99 and maybe filling the whole gap, right? So yeah, the rotation might flip as well in the whole momentum what we are right now. So be aware of that. Now, the whole cherry on top for me is still the total tree that I'm looking at it. Why? Because this is the whole market, how the whole market momentum, right, and movement. So what are we doing so far? Now, easily to say, we are still downtrending overall, right? Even Bitcoin is breaking out and Bitcoin is at the resistance still and around 80k, we still didn't regain shit on the whole total market, right? So that momentum is still there. And we are already in the second biggest resistance, or not even the third one. Like if you take out the resistance of 44. So yeah, this is still downtrending. Why? Because we did break the low, we didn't regain the high, and neither right now as well with this momentum movement. So there is something to think about it, right? Yes, we are attempting to get into that resistance or maybe break out of one of them, but still the highest resistance of the whole market is still almost 4.2% above us. So there is something to watch out for, right? So that's why as well, for me, it looks like we might see some potential of reversion, right? Gold start already to aim to go a little bit lower and start to cool off a bit more after we hit the 4.8. That was the 4 hour high that we technically wanted to regain or break out from it. We didn't. We went into that one. Yes, we trade above it, but right now we are failing on the structure. Right, the 4-hour structure on gold, it's been already broken. We are in a broken structure. Daily wise, technically you can say we are, but the low that matters is at 4.6. So till we're not gonna hold on that one and aim higher, that's the low that you technically, it's making or break it. We've been already testing that one, so going into that lower or retracing fully might send us even lower. So watch out for that. So that as well. Gold start to reverse on us. Silver, same thing, same situation. Even on the daily wise, we are at the daily resistance. So that's the whole reversal point, and getting below 74 is gonna send us a little bit lower. Now, on the opposite side, we're gonna have some payments to do on the gas and oil and shit, because oil aimed to go higher. Right? We are right now at the resistance, breaking out of 93. You're gonna send us in the hundreds. So happy us, I guess, right? There it is. So far, so good. And overall, with this whole movement of Bitcoin, like we know, dominance is blasting into the upside. We are above the previous resistance that we are been dealing from 60%. That's been like freaking from Jesus, November. That's been a while. So finally we can get rid of that one. And now we are at the highest point at the resistance from the failure of the whole 61%. So let's see how we're going to be dealing with it. So far, if the Bitcoin with the dominance goes higher, then we know what that means. This is only Bitcoin driven. We want it to dominance to drop and have the whole influte or alts, right? So we might see or we might not see alts popping up. We kind of aiming for that to do on it, on most of the alts that I'm looking at it. So let's see how we're going to be dealing with it. But so far, this is a Bitcoin driven move. Like we all know, the spot is still up and buy-ish territory. So if we're not going to see any reversal on that one, this is going to be still continuation so far. Let's see how we're going to be ending up today or even tomorrow. Just gonna mention quickly, Netflix. Boy, oh boy, I love when the plan goes right. Right, we have the high over here. We had the earnings coming in. I still didn't read them because I didn't have time, but I might do that in a couple of days. Let's see. And then we aiming to break 91. Break that. Where do you aim to go? Bang on. Definitely 82 for the retest of previous high, and then the lows are there to hold or not to hold. That's going to be the question. But yeah, really nice move. Predictable as well from freaking stocks. But yeah, it is what it is. Now, overall, daily metric wise, we are still uptrending, and we've been doing that since freaking lows of 66. So that was a really, really good move into the highs. Right now we are still at the resistance, right? We are technically right now at the moment of breaking out of it. If that's going to be happening, we tempt to go into the high of a 84-ish area, and there is one more, an 81 on a low time frame. Those are the two ones that I will aim, and we are getting into the low volumes scenario right now. That says as well two things: we can blast through it, or we can reverse from it, because there is not much to be deal with, right? Because I mean, getting into that 87, if we're going to be lucky of it, be aware that this is going to send us way lower, right? If you're going to get there. So yeah, that's quite a lot to deal with. And we are in a low volume area as well. So last time we've been there, we all remember, right? The dump from 97-ish. That was a quite nice one. Let's see how we're going to be dealing with it. And to remember and note as well, that high did break and close above the previous high on a daily time frame, right? We are right now on the daily time frame above it, but we still didn't close it yet, the daily. So that's the next candle that you always should look at it when after the 4 hour it's closed, right? Because the 4 hour matters. After that, that's the daily one. And then when you see any retrace or close below any kind of structure, then that's done. So be aware, right? Even if we close higher, we still can retrace, just because like we took massively like 95% of the liquidity already. if it's not more. I didn't even check how much this whole movement or the momentum was on the liquidation. But yeah, strong up movement still without even pulling back on the high time frame. So that's still on the plan to do, right? And technically, we are starting to get right now at the same level of capital flow as we used to start from. So we are close close to get higher of capital flow index. If it's gonna drop, then that means we're still in divergent mode, right? So that's still potential there. And on top of that, as a cherry one, we do have on the harmony what is freaking rare strong reversal sign. That's the yellow dot over here, and that dot is quite freaking bright. It's been a while that I saw that quite bright yellow dot. Like if you go into history even on that one, like yeah, on this low side or on the bullish side, there've been a couple of them, but on the bearish ones, then yeah, not really saw it for a long time. So yeah, that's as well. If you close over here, we potentially gonna retrace even into the lows. If not into the 73, then let's see how we're gonna be holding on then, right? Capital, oh sorry, not capital flow, but cash flow still in positive, right? If we start any kind of retracement on the daily, you definitely gonna see the reversal sign coming in. That sign, in my case or in my book or what I'm looking at it, it's gonna be similar. So we used to have it around 69, sorry, 96-ish area. That one gonna be the nail in the coffin, right? That's gonna send us way lower if that's gonna print. So let's see. Overall oscillation still below the whole neutral line, and we didn't even cross it yet. And we are way higher than we used to be at 96. So there is a lot of things like lining up for definitely a pullback, either retracement, but definitely a pullback, right? Just because of all of the liquidity that we've been taking. Like if we're gonna blast, like believe me, if we're gonna blast it right now into the highs of even it's gonna be like 81 and 84-ish area, boy, hold your horses, right? Like if you're gonna catch the short on that one, then boy oh boy, that's gonna be a juicy one, right? But so far, yeah, we are still close to the wick, the low of the wick that we settled over here on the previous pullback. Yeah, that's still good, right? If I used to be in this long, I'm already out of it. That was a juicy one, but now let's see if we're gonna have a really nice pullback on it, because we are overdue, to be honest, as well. Next one. That's the next sign as well for me. That's been talking about it Sunday. Overall, Dixie and VIX, right? We had a low on them, so we start to reverse on it. We already seeing on the gold and silver the potential pullback and the whole rotation. So that means that the money goes out of silver and gold. Now we do see a small pullback on next Nasdaq and SPX, right? Now, if most of them are already pulling back, what's going to happen to crypto, right? That definitely going to be the next sign of any kind of reversal, right? If we're going to see anything on capital flow, and that's going to be even on lower time frame, much more better to see. If we're gonna get, yeah, exactly, it loads up. So already on 4 hour we are way into the 60%, right? VIX and Dixie are starting to get higher above into the 40 and 50. If that's gonna be spiking up, that's gonna be a really bigger reversal coming in, right? So it's more about the rotation of the capital, right? Where is the money? If the money starts to flow out of the market, it means we're gonna have a pullback, right? As simple as that. Especially on the Nasdaq, right? If you're gonna go back right now into the Nasdaq, so right, we are still pushing it higher and higher, right? But here is another sign, like we are pushing it higher, and we are on the daily, right? This is daily time frame, so this been pushed higher, but we are already getting low, like let's say load of the capital, right? if that's happening and we start to get below 60, then yeah, we're gonna be diverging, like on chain diverging technically, and we're gonna see some bigger potential pullbacks. Believe it, that pullback could be juicy because the next top of support is at 25 ish, sorry, 24.2, right? If we break below 26. So a lot's gonna be happening. Feel that. But yeah, still potential sign of penny reversal. But yeah, we are starting to squeeze a little bit more into it, and we're taking out quite a lot of shorts with us. So yeah, now moving on Biddy, and let's start. Yeah, that's a good one. So as we can already see, right, which way we took off. We had a little bit more pullback into the lows. We technically broke the structure, but we hold it on overall low, what we started from, and we are blasting through it, right? It's been like going crazy. And to be honest with you, that's pretty to the T. We're starting to see some pullback on it just because of the 4-hour close. We had a really high 4-hour close above the February. Above, you cannot see it, 4-hour high of the swing, and even above 1-hour high of the swing. So right now, anything right now, what's happening? We have a swing failure. Still, that's going to be confirming. When and how? That's going to be confirmed definitely if you start to close anything right now below the February level, or at least 78. Now, then you start to get your swing failure confirmation, right? Only those levels. So far, this is still upside momentum. And we did already got the wick above the previous wick. So the red line over here, that's the previous wick from this whole shenanigans. You had the alert you saw it at the beginning of the stream, right? So that's the whole alerts what went off. So that's the high that we pop. Yes, we did pop it. So already we have a clear high, but same thing like I mentioned, we did it over here as well, quite higher even. So next 4-hour candle could even potentially be the higher high that we settled, and then we could reverse. If not, we're gonna continue, right? But then another hand side, where do we continue if that's gonna be happening, right? We have two levels. Even there is low volume and there's not much liquidity left, right? There are still two levels to consider. It's 81.1 and 82.7 before we're going to break out into this whole structure. Why? Because there is still the wick that's untested with the fair value gap. And on 4-hour, we still have that whole structure over here, right? That still potentially could hold us or be us resistance. Why? Because that was the first stop after the dump and we didn't regain that. But that was the swing failure, technically, because that was the high, low, higher, low, and it took us lower. So yeah, that's what I'm considering next stop. So it's going to be, or we're going to test the wick of it, or we're going to get the underside retest of 82, right? And then, of course, we have still that 84.2-ish, but then that's the third leg, right? So far, we have two levels above us to consider as resistance, right? So if you are not in a long, by all means, don't step it right now because that's way too high and we are still at the resistance of the whole daily. So it could get ugly. So yeah, but overall, this played out. Let's see if we're going to break at least like below February or we're going to close anything. Holding February, right? If you're going to hold that and you're going to start to grind sideways, boy, oh boy, we're going to start to blast off again, right? And that's the only way that I'm gonna consider we might even get back at yearly, but we will need to grind it for at least a couple days or not even a week, right? Something like this, and do a fake out, go back like bigger structure, and then you start to get higher up into the yearly, right? On the side readers. But that's the only way that I'm considering. Like to have a bigger pullback into the weekly, yeah, could be. That didn't been tested yet. But what's going with this? Like, unfortunately, you will break the low that's holding us. So that's already like considered already a break of 4 hour structure if you get at the weekly. So yes and no. You want the weekly to hold, but at least above 75. Right? That's the whole idea behind it. And that's the whole shady about this structure. Just because the higher low, it's way higher and untested weekly. So if you break the low of 75, then not even sure if the weekly is going to hold you. Right? But then you're considering to go to the previous weekly. Right? That's the high time frame higher low. Still in place, by the way, all of those ones. But yeah, we choose to go higher. That's fine. We are still going higher. And we are, well, we technically are divergent. So from way, way, way below over here. So yeah, we are overdue as well for some correction moves, right? And we did take out the whole blocks over here, I guess. The big stacking overlapping blocks, what we had it. Yeah, we did. Yeah, there was 4 of them even. Rarely see. But right now we still leaving one. And yeah, that's the one that's still holding us. We are already in way deep into the band, so as well another maybe sign for a reversal sign. And then on another hand side, like liquidity wise, like yeah, but it's way, way, way shitloads too much free runners, right? But yeah, overall, we still could push higher, right? Like I said, 82-ish area. Like look at that. There's always some liquidity left, some low leverage, but still could be potentially be taken out. And then after that, that zone. So getting into the 81-ish, you could push even into the 82. So what we could potentially see is something like, right, like this, and then start to break it. That could be as well like the nail in the coffin. Take this all out, but then yeah, that's rarely what happens. Only with the big moves, we go deeper than that. But yeah, overall, there is much more to the downside. Like right now, from this momentum, if we start to go back at 59, then oh boy, I'm not sure if you're gonna see me again. But I mean more in the straight line. But yeah, that's still continuation till we're gonna break it, right? So yeah. Again, when does that start? Close anything above below the February, like you have a continuation. If and only if you're not gonna retest the daily for a potential higher move, you're gonna fail that. Then you start to break stuff at 75. You're gonna get back at weekly. Right, those are literally the levels right now. So overall potential for the upside, yes, above 79.4. Failures below February level, fail that. That's on the low time frame. So we have a quite small margin, right? That's like almost 1% margin, which direction you can go for the scalping. You have a potential scalp to daily. Retesting daily, that's already 2%. If that fails, you start to get lower and start to take out some high time frame liquidity, right? Be aware of that. Literally be aware. Those are the moves. If you're not in the long, please hold your horses for any higher low or hold of the structure or any regain, right? Shorting right now, like if you are not me, then I will not bother. I pull out some shorts. I'm already in some shorts, but that's yeah. If you don't have like good strategy around that, then don't jump in front of the train, right? Like that's not really the aim. Aim for something like even 5 minutes, like for example, what Stu is doing. What we are technically right now dealing with is, right, we have a high. If you're on the scalp, this is your low, this is your higher high, right? What do we need to see? Technically, you want to see if we're going to break anything below that. That means close the candle below and wick lower than 78.8 or start to get higher, and that's as well below February. If you get below February, that means 78.6, right? Below that structure, break that, you have a potential nice short, and you can use even your super fibs if you like that. Right, so that's your short. Why? Because you start to break the lows on the low time frame. But that's considered as a scalp, right? Don't think anything like high time frame whatsoever. That can change quite quickly. But this is still uptrending, right? Till we're gonna break this low, or at least we're gonna close something below that. So far, use the pullback, right? Nothing special. Yeah, 1 hour it's still way below. Way below. Okay, so that's all on the bitty, I guess. Not much to talk about that. Oh yeah, I can add to it as well. Orders or blocks of bits, what we call them. Technically, let me, yes. Not much below us, right? Like even if you go like heavily into the low bits, like yeah, there is some close by, but not really much below. So potentially we even could go into that 80k, right? Because like you can see, there is a quite a good stack of 620 Bitcoin laying around 80k, right? And then another one start to get back at 81. So you already can see um, how they cross on the lines that I've been showing you. That means 81.8, 81.1, and then 82.6. Right, that 82.6 is not really visible. That's going to be somewhere around here. And then the 81 is there, right? So that's quite aligning with the levels. And still, there are some more bits above to take, or we're going to leave them whatsoever. That's going to be pushing us lower. And then the highest one is 2.8. That's been really rare to see overall, because the highest one so far been almost 1.1 or 1.8, but 2.8 is quite heavy. That's around 75.7 level. 75.7 is the daily or below the daily. Yeah, that's 75.7 is here. So it's over here. It's overlapping with the daily, previous daily, and below the daily that we are right now. And it's technically holding on this structure, and then below that is quite thick as well. So let's see. Right, coming into that could potentially push us in a little bit more higher, or even setting a new high on it. Just to be clear. So yeah, that's on Bitty. Let's see how. I mean, 4 hour it's already done, right? We don't need to watch it. It's set on the higher high. Now the most important is the daily, right? How do we gonna close the daily, right? If it's gonna be below the February, we potentially could see a reversal sign, and then as well on the. If you look at the oscillation, we are still below the trend with the inflow. So if that continues, that might even push us lower. And the high time frame frequency bots are quite lower as well. So potentially we are aiming for any kind of pullback or reversal, right? But there is no sign yet on it on high time frame, right? This is still aiming to go higher or blast through it. But yeah. Now moving on. Moving on hype. So hype, I think I'm gonna do it on a daily because it's much more clear. Hype. Potentially we are breaking structure already, because the daily been closing below $40, but that's just a mid range. The overall low, it sits at 36, right? The low that is here, 35, been already tested, so I'm not really looking at that one. But the potential low that's holding us is 36 too. Right, breaking below April Q2, we change the whole direction of it. Okay, just to be clear. So we could put what we are doing right now. It's not a big deal. This is just like a pullback overall from the whole high time frame momentum. Getting back at April, right? Holding that, we're gonna do another leg up, just because we are continuously doing that from beginning of what's that? January, beginning of the year, right? Like not really beginning, but then later on in end of the January, we flipped the whole yearly level. So yearly level is the overall high time frame support, and we are right now like blasting through it. Yes, we do have a pullbacks, and that's all fine and dandy, right? But then, if and only if we're gonna have the another leg up, that's gonna be my not last. I have one more set over here, I guess. This is my last TP. Or maybe even lower. I don't remember. I need to check that. But then we're gonna get back at the almost highest time frame structure, but that's as well the resistance. What we are dealing right now with underside retest. So we are testing all of this underside of it. So we are pulling back and kind of like preparing for like a bigger movement, because if that's been already tested, so we are just gonna go and through the resistance if that's gonna be the case. So then regaining this, start to get at the all-time high. So, and then let's see what we're gonna be doing. But so far, that's all what we get, right? We still have on weekly the positive inflow, and we didn't flip it yet, but that's all what we have, because the live chart of it is quite small and short, so not much of getting there. 4 hour, we are divergent from the oscillation, so we are already seeing some reversal sign. And let's see if we're gonna pop the high of 41. If that's gonna be the case, if we're gonna pop this, that means we're gonna settle the higher high on it. We can come back for the daily, and then we start to blast. Then that's gonna be the whole change of character, right? If not, if that's the case, start to break that and get back at Q4, Q2, and take all of this liquidity what's here, because like because there is quite a lot. Yes, below that still much more, but then getting below, like I said, 35 or 34-ish area start to get a little bit more dangerous, because that's been already heavily tested. But we can wick into it, right? So we can do like V bottom kind of situation like that. Same thing what we did over here, right? Here. So yeah, still interesting. I'm quite heavy on it. Us on the leverage and on spot. Spot eventually I'm from 20-ish, 20, 23-ish, I guess. 23 was it over here. Leverage, I have a really good position from 34. So yeah, coming close into the Q2. I'm gonna load up much more on it. And then you can see as well, whereas the liquidity ends up, it's around 51. That means way above this whole structure highs. So getting there, you're going to automatically settle a higher high on it. And then you have another pullback, right? Obviously, you start to get another pullback just because to grind more liquidity into it, and then blasting into the all-time high if that's going to be the case. So yeah, that's on Hype E. Now, second favorite one is Injective. Injective is really good. I mean, yeah, we did break some lows on it, but we did really significant regain the previous high and the high that we came from. That's the 3.4-ish. We still didn't get back at 4, because that's been already quite heavily on liquidations over here, what we took out. But to be honest with you, it started to look quite promising. Why? Because from that high that we settled from previous high, so we technically already switching back from change of character, what we used to do to the downside. Now we are going into the highs. We had a really nice pullback. We did break the structure, but we slowly started to regain it. We didn't regain the high, but we did regain what we failed from. Right, so this is the 3.3-ish area. We started to regain that. And already oscillations start to turn around, and we might even get higher, right? If we start to regain that high, we're going to get back at February. What's Bitcoin already doing? We're going to start to do it on the alts as well. But then the most interesting stuff happening on the daily. Why? Because if we start to close the daily above 3.4, we still are in continuation in higher time frame. So then we're going to aim for a high of 3.7. This is still a great move. This is still all going into the upside. We are still at the resistance. That's true. It's not something that I will long right now, because I'm right from somewhere over here. But then weekly open is still open for a retest, a proper one as well. But that's as well, you're going to start to break some things. But then let's aim for the daily. If you hold on that one, we are still in a continuation, right? You can clearly see that this is quite nice uptrending momentum still, right? So yeah, good stuff. Good stuff on the Injective. Really nice recovery. AVAX is a little bit more in a range. We didn't... yeah, we did regain the previous high, but we didn't get back at 10. We did get close to February. Nothing significant yet. We didn't regain that one. Now we are holding on the previous low of 8.9, but we are failing from 9.6. So we are technically failing on the higher high, and we are creating right now higher low, right? So to hold that, we literally want to hold on March or even on a daily, but we start to turn around, right? If they start to blast into the high of 9.9, that would be great to settle a new higher high. But overall, I have a feeling AVAX might do a pullback on it and maybe break some lows. That's going to be the case. But we don't want to get back below Q2. That's the whole shenanigans about it. Why? Because then this is kind of like um, this is your high, this is your low. I consider this as the middle of the range. It's a little bit lower, I know, but that's been the whole flip of RSI. Like right now, we've been holding 3 times above that level, right? You do want to break that. Breaking that, you start to get really, really low into the 8.5 and maybe even lower, right? So that start to get a little bit dangerous. Like AVAX didn't get that much love like the rest of the coins did. Unfortunately, I wish to see it a little bit more high into the February of the resistance of $10, but we are not there yet. Daily wise, we still are in the flip of the trend. So we potentially could. Like, I will be much more happier if we close the daily above 9.7. Right? And this is as well the whole idea. And this is why I always look at the structure. Why? Because over here, you are in an uptrending structure, right? This is low, this is higher low, right? We all can see that. This is higher high. So we are in uptrending structure, right? Now, things start to change when you get into the daily. Why? Because the weekly open, the previous weekly open was the low that you needed to hold. We didn't. Sorry. We didn't hold it. Why? Because you can see already we did break the structure. Now, obviously, is the reaction that we're having right now to create higher low is the right reaction, right? Because then we start to change from this into this, right? Because you lost this low. Yes, we are holding on it, but the first low that you came into it is the previous weekly, where you closed the previous weekly cloud early, and now we are just pulling it back into the resistance for potential retesting it and regaining it or failing it. Right? That's why I'm always key on the structure, even 4 hour on a daily. Right? Yes, like I said, April overall is holding us. That was the whole RSI flip. That level been already once, 2, 3, 4 times tested. So I think heavily over tested. And in my book, over 3 times, that's a killer for the level. And I'm not even considering that level as a strong level. Right? But then failing the April, where do you go? There's a really big West wick below that. So starting to get below 8.4. Like, okay, I'm going to be happy to buy more spot. But then 8.2 is your last support on the high time frame. So yeah, still in the range. Bit iffy on the daily structure because we broke that. So holding on the weekly is the only safe garden right now to go and higher up into the February. Now, moving on Solana, still struggling with the resistance of 91, right? We had a really good pullback, and same thing on Solana as in on AVAX. We did break the low on the weekly open. We are holding on the previous weekly that isn't tested, but coming back at that weekly open and closing anything on the daily below around that, you are confirming your lower low. Either way, you hold on that. So yeah, you start to change your change of character, right? So yeah, still a little bit iffy. Maybe 4 hour looks a little bit more better, and it technically looks because we are technically uptrending. right? But that's only on the lows. We are uptrending on the lows, but then on the high, we are steady and we are not even coming close at 90, right? We have already small reaction already from the underside retest we are doing over here. So yeah, some signs that we might see some pullback. And then on render. Render is as well interesting one. It does whatever it wants to do, so it's not really following on the rest of the market. And right now, even on the daily one, it's pulling back into the reverse sign. So we had that weekly open and a reverse from it. Still downtrending. Still, you're not gonna flip the 1.88, right? Flip that. You are aiming to get higher at the resistance. That's the only one. This is a really good one, right? Even if you pull back into the weekly one, that's fine as well. You are safe on that one. But breaking the weekly, you start to get back at 1.6 or even lower at 1.59, right? But then that's going to be the whole break of structure on the high time frame. If you go below that 1.664. So this is still strong as hell, even if it's pulling back. And for now as well, we have already a reversal sign. That's fine. Still inside retest, but holding the weekly is the key for that to get higher. And I think there is much more liquidity even though. Yeah, decent one. Yeah. But then upside, same thing. Like this one is quite good in farming liquidity. A really, really good one with less of gaps between. Yeah, really good one. So yeah, that's a little bit more on my side. Let's see what the rest of the market is doing of the meme coins. The shitties. Ooh, see, there it is. Like why I'm key on the structure. Like this says as well, like good thing about it. February, right? This is the February. We are on ETH 4 hour. We did pop the high on that one. We did pop into it. We got the rejection from it. That was a rejection while I was technically aiming for Bitcoin as well to do it. And what you do, you pop the low, right? So obviously it was your high, it was your low, and now we are in lower low and higher low, right? Changing the whole reaction. Easy as that. But yeah, it did pop the low, high, right? So even Bitcoin's gonna do it. Like this was the high, and it popped it, and it popped it high even, but still rejected from it, and now we are breaking the structure. How does it look like on the daily? Same thing, right? You see the high over here. We popped it even twice, right? You regain it twice. That's why ETH is quite a meme coin in my perspective. Right? You did freaking regain that, but then even on daily, like you failed completely miserable on holding it. Weekly open early. So if we're not gonna get above what's that? 2.4? Yeah, 2.41. You not get above that. And yeah, daily weekly it is, and fail weekly, you're gonna go back at the previous weekly. And this is as well like common structure on the most of the coins, right? This is your previous weekly, and this is your weekly right now. So one of those two, it's gonna hold you or not. Yeah, that one has been already diverging. Yeah. Heavily, heavily. But yeah, this is what it is. We are overdue. Been in happy times too long, I guess. Well, yeah, let's see what the biggest meme coin is doing. Yeah, nice. We popped the high, right? Like freaking to the T. And now we are fighting with the February again, right? Yeah. If we're going to keep it above it, especially if we're going to start to grind like that and do some fake outs on it, right? Then we're going to do a big pop. And then I mean big pop. Failing that, close anything below February, 4 hour daily, back at the daily, definitely. So yeah. And kind of looking at the orders right now. I did see pop a big one. 1 minute. See? And there it is. 807 Bitcoin. We popped into that one. And there is another one above it, and it pushed us quite high, quite low. Right? That was quite a reversal. We didn't even reach the 600. So yeah. Now let's have a look at the first start of any break of structure. It's 5 minutes. Got to get off, and look at that. It'll be a close. Getting anything below that and close below 78.6. Yep, we start. It's a start of a pullback and reversal, right? We still can recover from it like we did over here. That was been quite heavily pushed. That was already a broken structure, but it's been regained. So still could be potential regain, but it's a start. It's a start of something beautiful. But yeah, fair value gaps quite heavily. This whole move been really heavily pushed. But I mean, we all can see that, right? Like from going 4 months sideways and shitty price action for really a long time, coming back at February, right? Closing daily below, done, done. It's gonna be quite funny to see how we're gonna react from today on it. People are really aiming way too high. I saw today when someone on, oh, that wasn't on X. Fuck, where was it? Oh, I don't remember. Was from, I think maybe on YouTube I saw like a term like someone was fucking aiming for like 200k. Oh, okay, okay, fair enough. But yeah, overall, it's quite decent. Quite decent. Let's see if we're gonna have the momentum carry on over in the next couple days. If not, then yeah, we will see some potential pullbacks, right? We always start with a pullback, breaking some lows. Then we talk about retracements and quite a big reversal signs, right? But so far, this is just a pullback, right? We did a freaking whole move, like from today even, but that's 4%. But overall, from the low of the weekly, we did already 7.8%. That's big for Bitcoin, to be honest with you. And yes, finally, we popped the freaking February. I can stop yapping about it. Happy about that. Yes, weekly looks strong, right? We all agree with that one that looks strong, right? But it did look same over here. We got previous weekly, oh sorry, the weekly from this candle used to be at 97. So yeah, it looks strong. But imagine, just imagine, and this is just for fun, like imagine the pain when this weekly will reverse and close badly. Same thing like we have, for example, over here. Oh boy. Hold your horses then. And yes, you can argue like, yeah, but oscillation. Like, yeah, this is freaking weekly oscillation. It takes weeks to play out, but look where we've been here as well. Right? We easily can reverse from it because we are flatlined it. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting. And oh, next week, Thursday, we have the monthly close. That's gonna be definitely interesting one. Oh, we see already a reversal sign coming in on the monthly. But hey, we had that one as well over here, right? It doesn't mean it need to play out straight ahead. It can take another 500 days for it to play out, right? So let's see if we're gonna have. And funny enough, what was it 500 days? Right, 500. Let's see. Let's say 550 days, right? Funny enough, October, November. right? So, hey, who knew? Mm. Cool, cool, cool. What you guys talking about? Oh yeah, one thing. What I want to mention as well. I forget. I always forget about that one. I always forget. Long and short ratio, right? So yeah, like I never take their account in 1 hour, but funny enough to see what we are doing, and this is as well another reason and explanation how the market is simplify copy of the previous moves, right? Fair enough. I We had a really good split, and then we are retracing it back. Let's see if we're gonna have another one or we're gonna flip it. So that's one. It doesn't go back. Oh my god, it's gonna take ages. 1 hour. And no, this is not my internet. It's just the way how this is pulled, right? So okay, another one. Example from this situation to this situation, right? Fair enough. We had a much more bigger squeeze in between, but then yeah, still quite nice. But then what I do, I always look at the daily. And yeah, we are the shorts are stacking. That's no brainer, right? But then as well on the daily, if we start to reverse on that one, we could potentially touch or kiss or merge or whatsoever you want to call it again into a neutral line, and then see if we're gonna potentially see a flip. But there's another thing as well to it. What I like to look on the long and short. It's not only the lines itself. It's always the whole momentum sensitive and correlation of it. So over here, for example, what we are doing, like overall, this is still like from the highs that we did from here on the lows, right? We are technically squeezing, right? This is the whole. If you compare it to squeeze potential, what we have as an indicator, it kind of looks similar to it, right? Why? Because technically, yeah, we are stacking freaking shorts on it. We are blasting through it, like heavily blasted. If that reverse, we will have potentially bigger swing for it to flip and then go again back at where we started with, right? Then what do you look for is pull back and then, right, similar to pull back sideways, go. And then we have all of this again till we're gonna meet. So yeah. Can we do a third wave? As in mm, this, 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 this? Hell yeah, we can. We can even go lower than that because there is shitloads of liquidity over there, less than to the upside, right? Yeah, that's probably what we're gonna aim for. Are we gonna get like either way? Like we can argue, yeah, but we can go even to 90 or higher up. Yeah, we can. But then the next resistance is 90k, right? Another resistance is at 95. That doesn't change anything yet. Why? Because you need to regain 98.5. This is what you need to regain. This is your whole RSI flip for what you did at all-time high, what you're doing below 100k. Right? This is the whole middle point. We need to regain that. And even then, if you regain that, right? We all know what's happened when we regain that. We will come back for any potential lows, mid-range, or even lower, right? So still doesn't change nothing yet. We are at not even close. We start getting far away from all-time high. So like, please stop thinking we're gonna get there right now or this year, because that's not gonna happening. We need to really, like, for that to happen, boy, you need to send this weekly into the 108, right? Pull back, hold on it, and then do something like this. You do at least 200. That means you're gonna be dealing with this structure, or at least something like that. But then, like, spread much more. That's not really happening yet. This is just one big ass candle. Doesn't change anything. Not even close. So yeah, and already, like, daily wise, we are like just in 79k. We came back from the low 33%, right? In 4 months. 33% in 4 months. So let's say we're gonna do another 33% in another 4 months, right? So yeah, could be, right? But you're getting like into the highs of the previous high. Yeah. And that's take you like freaking a year to achieve. Yeah. Seeing it. Not seeing it yet. It's not that I'm not bullish. Like, yeah, I'm freaking longing the freaking low of Bitcoin right now. It was like 66.5, but I had a long from it. Right? Yeah, I do long it, and I do short it right now as well when we're gonna see the pullback. But overall, like, high time frame, I always gonna be bullish about Bitcoin because yeah, we didn't break any lows from the bear market yet. Right? We are far away from that to break the low on it. But that doesn't mean like my local momentum is not that I'm freaking looking a bit more to the downside. Right? There's much more to it than only looking for that. Okay, we did 33% in 4 months. Like, fuck yeah, awesome. But we didn't do shit in 3 months. Like, imagine doing 33% of something, like a lot of work, but not even achieving yet. And just right by a hit of the week, you regain the high. So what's gonna happen now? Are we gonna blast to 90% in the 90k? I don't see that. Not really. Yeah, some people do see it like that. Nice hold. Wick into the lows. We're still holding on it. Push into the highs. Small regain. Reversal. Let's see how high this is gonna bring us. My pop is a little bit more higher. If the next leg not gonna be setting a low, then this is still continuation. But yeah, that was just on for 5 minutes. Anyhow, I was looking at the chat. Huge change. Yes, we agree. Mm, for close for the public. Oh, you late? Yeah, it's okay. Worries. You didn't miss much. No more 200k this week. Maybe next week. Let's see. Is there anything else, guys, that you wanted me cover it? Are there any tickers that you're looking at? Any alts? Anything like? Oh wait, I want to see something. How is this fucking bullshit going on? That? Yeah. Fucking hell, like this. Like, can someone tell me, like, what's the reason? So, if the token is dead for like, what's that, 2 years? Yeah, 2 years, right? It pops quite heavily. What is the reason that everyone's gonna jump on this? I saw so many people got wrecked about that. Like, fucking shorting this even, or longing any pullbacks or any structure. Like, that's ballistic. So just do me a favor. If you see this, right, And after this, like, boy, you are for some in for some ride, right? And that means you're gonna be wrecked as fuck. But you need to be really lucky to get the high and that short into that, because believe me, you need to be on 1 minute for that to happen. Because structure wise, on 4 hour, even on 1 hour, you didn't add any pullbacks on it or retest. It went ballistic. When it goes, and they pull the plug on it. And now, like, if you want to long this, like, yeah, by all means, but you're not gonna get much from it. Don't think that's gonna achieve another 9 or 10 or 100x or whatsoever, because that's not gonna happen. That's that. That's the plug will is pulled. On. So yeah. Why can this not die off? Like, this is fucking shenanigans. Like, if you this as well, like, boy, they struggle so much to keep it up with it. Like, you can't imagine. Like, if you understand a little bit more of market makers and liquidations, what they do, like, if that's the start, that's the high, they run it all the way down. Boy, they start to grind the shit out of it. This structure, all of this, what's here, this did all by itself goes like almost in billions, and they're doing twice to stagnate all of the liquidations and shorts and longs at the same time, to fucking wipe them in both ways. Believe me, like, you're gonna see one day or another day, big ass candle, and then it's gonna reverse quite quickly. Same thing what happened over here, right? That's oh, spot buy, like, yeah, buy the shit out of it. Like, if you want to buy spots, but leverage trading this shit, oh, that's horrible. With this whole range, and look at that, like, this is crazy. I technically know how much cost to keep up this price like that. If they cannot even maintain leverage liquidations, that nice. Compare this to render. It's clean without even one gap, not aiming for the local gap, right? And then look at this. Like, what the fuck is this all? Like, bro, oh, this is such a, in my opinion, they just make this just to be there. Like, because Hyperliquid made one, they're gonna make one as well. Like, that's the reason. Oh, even like BNB is performing much more better than that shit. But yeah, that's my opinion. Stagnated as well. Ooh, that's, oh shit. That's not really a good sign for Doge, by the way. Be in a position like that. Oof. Gonna be, there gonna be some people hurt about it. Um, mm, 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 mm. Have it. Okay. Yeah, unfortunately, you lost quite significant low. Mm, 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 mm. Okay, let me. This can stay, and then you can add another one. So what you're doing is literally you are filling this wick, right? The whole order book, what's been wiped over here, you are filling it. Why? Because you're losing low after low after low, right? This was a low, you failed that, and then now you technically holding on it, but that's like barely something significant. Why? Because you are still in downtrend on it, right? The only thing on this whole token, if you really want to trade it, is just to short it. That means the next step is still this. Still, you're not gonna flip it. This is your resistance. This is your resistance. This is one, and even here is one. And then you are not talking about the 160. So there's a lot going on, right? Still to the downside. That's on the daily, and 4 hour broke the low as well. Like, fuck my life. And there is as well quite decent pocket below you to get rid of if you're gonna aim for that. Right. So yeah, overall, you, I mean, locally you do regain the high, but then still, like you are far away from 111, and that's your underside retest over here. Getting that underside retest and then continue, yeah, definitely. Same thing what you did over here, right? It's still downtrending. That's not much to say about it. Um, yeah, and there's a lot of other blocks above that. Even stack, like that stacking progress, that's heavy. Nothing else to the downside. Yeah. And look at that. Coming into the high, you get into the band. That's your resistance, and you aim to get lower. That's still the only aim. When that's gonna change? Now, to be honest with you, that's gonna change only when you regain the high of this whole structure, the 128. Regaining that high where you came from, what blasted you into the lows, right? So you need to see something like this, lows, anything above that, coming back and hold on the low. Then you only talking about the change of character. Nothing else now. This is still downside. And look at that. Like, yes, a lot of support below, but that means you still can go even lower than the wick. So yeah, this is still downtrending. What was the next one? Sec. Jesus. Still, is that still alive? Ooh, that's gonna be something funny to say. It broke its major support on the weekly. So then, if you want to regain and like cancel the failure that you just did, right? This you need to regain 533. Yeah, me not really seeing that, but it is in a downtrend still. That's on the weekly. Now, daily wise, yeah, you technically regain the previous highs. That's fine. That's fine. Now, this is the high that matters. Why? Like, why those two are not matter? Because that's the high. This high took you all the way to the low that you settled. That technically broke all of that, right? So that's your swing failure, right? So look at that. Where did you end up? You end up literally at retesting that high. Now, you did do a pullback, and that was a quite aggressive one, also in stagnated orders. So that was been pushed quite heavily. You are looking at oscillation to be cooled off. But then, on the other hand, you need to regain now 3.7, sorry, 370 to go at the high of 395. Where do you aim? You still aim lower, right? You aim to get either way into the 275 or 225. So where are you right now? This is your range. You are now in the middle. Not something that you should consider pulling a trade on. You wait for either two things gonna happen, right? Overall, this is high time frame. It's done. Um, yeah, you are holding on this hip over here. This is the only thing that's holding you right now as a support. And getting in there, then what you're doing? You're breaking again a low. Oops. I'm breaking again a low. So continuation in it is. I'm not sure if there is something that people should look into that one or not, but they are better tokens. Like I'm seriously like uh I'm seriously surprised like how why people focusing on the most shitty ones. Like there are much better ones. Better and nicest one to trade and easiest ones, but yeah. It's not something that I'm looking at it to trade. Like it was fun, right, to catch the high or something, but now like the fun is over, I guess, and this is just bullshit. It's it's just gonna die off eventually. If you catch it, fine, happy you, right? But yeah, don't go overboard and don't go crazy on it. There's no need for it at all. Tia, yeah, same thing. That's not even gonna try. What the fuck is this doing? Surprise, surprise, it broke the low again. Yeah. Ooh, right. Thing. Didn't break out from. That's same. Party doing. Build it and fill the wick. But it's holding on the low, at least. Oh, look at that. For example, that's a nice looking chart, and already respecting the lows that I've been apparently charting away. Don't remember when, but yeah, look at that. This is a good example of changing of character, right? So what do we have? I mean, overall it looks shit, I know, but this is whole downtrending, right? Like obviously. Then when you zoom in locally, what are we doing? Like after this, like this is your prior high, this is your prior low. Why? Because you came from that low high into that low and you didn't break that low, right? So that's your prior low to hold on, right? Trading view, work with me. So you don't want to lose 0.02, and especially structure wise. Why? Because if that's the high, that's the low, you regain this. This is your high, which you just regained. You have a pullback into the low. Structure wise, this is the structure that you don't want to lose or break at least. 0. Sorry, that was the low. It was 0.022, and the structure wise is on 0.024. Now, look what happened. Like if that's the high, that's the low, that's the higher high, you're pulling back. Perfect. One touch, and you're blasting off. Simple as it gets. Now, that's a good looking chart. I mean, to trade off, right? And already, that's on the daily, you do see low, change, character. If you manage to get above this high, you're gonna confirm it, right? You get above it, you set a higher high, you have a continuation. Done. Easy. That. Simple. Like if you see this already, like something like that, simple one spot back order over here, right? Already 33% up. Nothing special about it. But yeah, let's go back to this. QCS. Still fighting it. Oh, I think well, it's a new 4 hours, so we're gonna fight both ways anyway. Scalp. Yeah, you like Zach, right? You've been scalping that shit loads of times. But yeah, you did catch the long short on it, so yeah, good. And I guess yeah, that's the long as well. Yeah, it is. I low, yeah, not really, but yeah, it's what it is. Which time frame is it? I think that's he was scalping it, so that's gonna be like freaking 1 minute or even lower than that. Guess you like that. But it's a good one, Crypto Poly. Yeah, like to scalp away. I'm more self swing trader, so don't bother to look at the charts on 1 minute. Okay, Prabhu. Prabhu, which tokens you had more? You had one more that we talked like ages ago that I said that I used to buy spot on it. I always forget the fucking name of it. What's that? Handle. Yeah. Exactly. That one. How does that one look like? Oh boy. Ooh, 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 ooh. Yeah, obviously we did lose all of this, but then you're holding on your list price. Holy shit. That's the price I pay for it last time. We've been buying shitloads over here. Hmm. Fuck, sorry, I was zooming out. I was back in the memories and we was doing this whole shenanigans like years ago. I mean, years. Yeah, at 2024. 2 years ago. Manual buying spot bags here, holding, and then fucking selling it or something. We've been here most of it, and then chunk over here, and then I freaking yeah, I didn't bother anymore. Good old days. Anyhow, my point. Yeah, we broke the freaking low. Like, obviously, this is a freaking great positioning to buy any spot because, like, what do you lose? Like, only 60%, right? So you know you're gonna buy a low at least or somewhere close to it. But then same thing for it to be considering a potential change of character, you need to regain at least on the weekly 2.1. Right, daily wise, it's a little bit different. That's gonna be at least somewhere a little bit lower, 2.05. Right, but yeah, potentially one more pullback into the lows. Overall, like, not gonna lie, it's a good buy area. I mean, we used to buy it in like 2 years ago at that price, so yeah, I think it would be crazy if you're not gonna buy it now as well. Still good potential for like run it up into the underside retest, 2.5x. Yeah, taking it. I need to send this to Eagle. He's gonna be laughing at it. It's back at the list price, or at least the price where we used to buy it. So Jesus, good old days. Good old days. Yeah, cool, cool, cool. Anything else, my lovely people? Anything you want to talk? Oh, it used to be a quick one. How much I'm yapping about? Fuck my life, 1 hour already. See how much I like you guys. I love to be here, even though I'm not even on holidays. I wish. I'm away from the office and I'm still doing this. Mm. Yeah, overall, I think that's all from me. And yeah, just keep an eye on it, right? At least 4 hour close. Next 4 hours, it's gonna be quite significant for the whole uptrend. If you're gonna close above or below February, losing February and keeping holding below it, then yeah, you're gonna retrace it definitely. And especially make sure you're gonna watch the daily. The daily is gonna be really major in that case because closing still below 78, still we are in an uptrend, but we are at a resistance and we didn't break out from it. Only if we're gonna close the daily above February, then and only then you can consider this as a higher high. Okay, just make sure you understand that and you know that. Yeah, overall it's gonna be interesting evening. So yeah, I'm gonna do some business unfortunately and some meetings still. So it's not ending for me. And I will be back shortly. I think I'm gonna be here on Sunday. So yeah, still I'm still around. Not much in the chat, but I'm still around. If you need me, then yeah, ask away or DM me, and I'm gonna be happy to help you. If not, I'm gonna be seeing you next Sunday. Happy days.